Okay, so this is my final presentation in personal fitness training, professional experience. So this is me, just to sum me up a little bit. My name is Kelsey Mitchell. This is actually my 6th year of school. I started this program in 2011, completed a year of it, then switched to U of A, then back to NATE to try a different program, and am now finally finishing it up. Some sports that I've played in the past is I played for the NATE Ooks soccer team as well as the U of A Pandas soccer team. Also very interested in basketball and volleyball, played that all through high school. Some of my future goals in life and out of this program is to work with young athletes. I really like kids, and ones that are driven and want to partake in sports really is something I want to be a part of in the future. So my practicum site was actually at First Line Fitness Training. Some information about this site is it is actually located just outside of Sherwood Park. It's about 2 years old. 2 trainers, I'll talk about them later on, Darren and Phil, decided to start this gym. They used to work at Trueform, which is also a sports-specific gym located in Sherwood Park. First Line Fitness is an athlete-specific with 2 separate bays. One of the bay has the change rooms, treadmills, spin bikes, row machine, 2 squatting platforms, some free weights, and other miscellaneous equipment. The other bay is more so for the team training, where there's 40 meters of turf, a bunch of spin bikes, 3 squat racks, and some box jumps, etc. Although this gym is very specific for athletes, a lot of the clientele are actually everyday individuals that aren't pursuing any sports, just trying to stay healthy. Actually, this gym is closing down December 21st, and they're moving to a new location just behind Costco in Sherwood Park. It's opening January 2nd, 2017. I went and visited it's still under construction, but I went and saw it, and it's huge. It's a big open bay concept. There's 100 meter by 30 meter turf. They plan to be between 7 and 8 squat racks. There's going to be still 4 treadmills, and they're buying some more spin bikes, and obviously some box jumps, some more weights. I think they're getting another rack of weights. So yeah, it'll be exciting. Opens January 2nd, so you guys should check it out. So we'll meet some of the trainers. The first trainer who I worked quite a bit with was Phil. Phil actually graduated from the personal fitness training program in 2006, then started working at Trueform, started up his own kind of hockey program based out of Trueform and called it First Line, and then eventually moved over and started a new gym, which is First Line. One of the trainers who also worked at Trueform and then switched over with Phil and co-owns First Line is Darren. He started off as a golf pro, specializing now in soccer and basketball athletes. Another trainer that works there is Chris. He actually graduated with Phil in 2006 from the NATE program. He specializes in jiu-jitsu and kickboxing and works with a variety of clientele. This is Jackie. She graduated in 2015 from the U of A with a kinesiology degree, specializing in personal training. She also works with teams as well as individual clients. And this is the newest member to First Line. His name's Sam. He graduated from the program just this year, back in April. He specializes in hockey, played for the NATE Ooks hockey team, and so has a pretty good understanding of what they need to be successful in the game. Some of the clients that I worked with, Carrie, who used to play rugby, Bill, who is an RCMP. He's not actually working in the field anymore, but is in the office. Cole, who is a hockey goalie. Jared, who is a young rugby player. And then Deb, who is a bit older and does agility shows with her dogs. Working at First Line, I got to work with a lot of different teams, which was awesome because that's definitely where I see myself in the future. So it ranged from kids who were under 15 all the way up to 19, 20-year-olds. So we had Bantam AA all the way up to Junior B Crusaders, which is the Sherwood Park team. And then I worked with a U15 boys soccer team from St. Albert. So the bolded ones are the ones that I got to spend quite a bit of time with. So I'll talk about them later on. So I completed all of my 70 plus hours at First Line Fitness. It was a great fit for me, so completing all of the hours here was exactly what I wanted and hope to pursue in the future, this kind of training. Some of my responsibilities at First Line, obviously to train the clients. When I worked with the teams, there would always be another trainer there. So at the beginning, I would be in charge of their warm-up, or I'd be in charge of their hip mobility, especially with the hockey players. Getting their glute meads nice and strong was essential. Any injuries, so if someone was unable to participate in a certain exercise, I would either think of something else for them to do or help them roll out or stretch out. Eventually I was in charge of designing the circuits or the spin bike workout, so we'd have half the team doing the circuit while the other half was on the bike, and then eventually I had to design both, the whole program for the team. Also keeping the facility clean and tidy, just putting away weights, doing some laundry, things like that. So this is Cole. He's one of my clients. That's actually not a picture of him, but I did not get one. So that is just a hockey goalie. So Cole is a 15-year-old hockey goalie. He actually came to us with a cast on. So he ended up breaking his leg 2 weeks before he was coming to see us. So definitely had to do some modifications for him. A lot of rowing, which he was able to do. We just kind of strapped his foot in. And then he was also able to go on the spin bike by strapping his one foot to the pedal. So some of the goals, or some of the workouts that we had him do, there was a lot of biking or rowing, and then full body workouts. So getting his core stronger was key for Cole. He'd never worked out before. He is quite a bit younger, so just getting that nice core strength, being able to move the limbs efficiently was key. After his cast did get off, I got to have 2 or 3 sessions with him, and so we did try and strengthen up that one leg. He also needed to drop a little bit of weight, so we had him do a lot of cardio and then high reps as well. So another client I worked closely with was Jared. He's a rugby player, a bit of a bigger build, very limited experience in the gym. He's 17 years old, so still growing and learning his body. So some modifications, he had very limited cardio, was a bit bigger, limited core strength, and struggled lifting his own weight. So doing push-ups or sit-ups were still a struggle for him. Some of the workouts that we had Jared do, he was also trying to drop some weight, so we had him do a lot of cardio, had him on the bike, and eventually we did have some workouts on the treadmill. I don't have them here, but running like half a mile at a time, just at a lower pace, getting his heart rate up, burning some fat, so having it fall between 60 to 70% of his max heart rate was kind of where we were aiming. A lot of body weight, full body exercise, so step ups, planks, so making sure his core is engaged, dead bugs, keeping that core nice and tight, and moving the limbs, trying to get his sense of like core stability, moving his limbs efficiently is the word I was looking for. So we did different things like that. With the chest press, we had him on a stability ball, keeping his glutes nice and tight, core tight, and then doing the chest press that way. So with some of the teams, I worked a lot with the Junior B Crusaders. So that is yeah, 15 to 20-year-olds. A lot of them actually do already train at First Line over the summer. With Phil puts on these hockey programs or hockey schools, I guess, that are 5 times a week, and so the kids already know how to work out, know what Phil is like, and know how to train at First Line and what is expected of them. So they were very respectful. I got to work with them a lot on the bikes, and then I designed some circuits for them as well. The midget AAA guys, these were 15, 16, 17-year-olds. So they were a little bit younger than the Crusaders. Still participated in summer camps or summer program over the summer with Phil, so they also were pretty well behaved. Working with the teams, I did learn a lot, obviously. I did struggle a bit with design. So half of them would be on the spin bikes at a time and half of them would be doing a circuit. And just finding the amount of time it would take to do the circuit and the amount of time on the bike and trying to find that balance so that they were both groups were done at the same time, I did find challenging. I definitely got better at it with time, so I know that I would learn with experience. So another team that I did work with was the U15 boys soccer team. A lot different than hockey players, that's for sure. They were quite a bit smaller, obviously under 15 years old. The main things that we worked on with them was speed and agility and quickness, so SAQs. A lot of flexibility. It's very surprising how limited their flexibility was. Like, couldn't even hold some positions because their hips were too tight. So definitely trying to start them young and get them more mobile was key, especially with under 15. They are starting to get a little bit older and starting to grow, and so their bodies are a little uncoordinated. So working with them with their footwork, and so we do ladder works, we do jumps into sprints, we would do reactive drills with tennis balls. So it was awesome to see that form of training as well, and not just actually lifting. So this is an example of one of the workouts that I designed for the midget AAA guys. So we'd have them warm up at about gear 15 for 10 minutes, and we'd have their RPMs around 75. It was interesting because I wasn't sure what, I'd have to come and check the screen, and eventually with time I could just tell you're not spinning at 75 RPMs, and just call them out on it, and they were pretty good about chirping each other, as they would say, or letting each other know when they were slacking off. And then I'd split the group in half. We did hip mobility. So a lot of clamshells or glute bridges, or we'd get the bands out and have them do lateral steps, different things like that, just to get their glutes firing as well. So we'd split the team in half and then have one group on the spin bike where they would do minute on, minute off, 5 times at gear 17 with 2 minutes rest, then 20 seconds on, 30 seconds off, 10 times at gear 19. The duration was normally to just mimic the amount of time of a shift. So usually they'd range between 30 and 45 seconds, they said. So having it a little bit longer with the 60 seconds on, 60 seconds off would have them prepared if they were ever stuck on the ice and needed to give another skate back on defense, and they'd have the energy, hopefully, to do that. The 20 on and 30 off was just trying to mimic some quick bursts up and down the ice. For the circuit of weightlifting, we had them do push-up to plank on a foam roller, making sure they really engaged their core, a forward reverse lunge with the different positions. So we'd have all the players stepping forward and back, obviously, and then with the goalies, we'd actually have them go laterally, just because they would never actually move in the rarely move in the forward back position. It's way more common that they would be moving side to side. Stability ball chest press, front squat with forward press, 25 pounds overhead with lower legs working their core, lateral hurdle jumps, so they would jump over the hurdle side to side 4 times and then into a sprint, really try to get their fast twitch muscles going. As soon as they land, they take off. So that was good. Then TRX row, really forcing them to engage their core as well as doing the row. So, and then finally is box jumps. So they are full body workouts, just trying to get their heart rate going, build some muscle, get their coordination down. And so, yeah, it was awesome. Some challenges that I found, I mentioned it before with the teams, is just trying to find the balance between how much time it would take them on the bike versus the circuit. So I did find that quite challenging, but definitely will come with time. My personal availability was also a bit of a challenge with First Line. They would have clients come Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but unfortunately I could only make it on the Monday because I would have class on Wednesday and Friday. So I was basically more so available in the evenings, which is when most of the teams would come. So I did get to spend a lot of time with the teams, which I obviously loved, but I did want to get obviously some experience with the one-on-one clients. So coming in for an hour or two a day just to try and get the clients was kind of what I had to do. Another challenge with First Line was clients missing or canceling. Very frustrating, but I guess I have to get used to that as a trainer. Coming to the gym at 6 in the morning because you have a client at 6, 7, and 8, and then only the 6 o'clock shows up. And then so I'd only get an hour worth of my 70 hours when I had planned to come for at least 4 or 5 hours. So that was kind of frustrating, but obviously that's how it's going to be in the future. People won't always be able to make it, and you're kind of working around their schedule, not yours. So it was a good learning experience, that's for sure. My biggest challenge of all was definitely my confidence. I do feel in day-to-day life I'm a pretty confident person, but walking into a gym filled with high-end athletes that have trained with trainers before, and then having my trainers, or I guess evaluators at the end of the day, in the same room, and then having to design a program for them was quite stressful for me. I eventually learned, I know that I knew the stuff. I knew how to work out. I knew how to train. I knew what would push someone, and I knew like different things like that, but I would always second guess myself or question if what I was doing made sense, or if that would be something that Phil or Darren or Jackie or Sam would do, or Chris. But like talking with the trainers, they assured me like no one's here to judge like my decisions with anything. All they want to do is help and help me grow as a trainer in person. And so they were awesome. I loved the trainers that I worked with. They were great. And obviously the kids or the athletes or clients were very understanding and supportive as well, that I was just learning. And so it was just a really great environment to gain this confidence. After my 70 hours, I do feel that I have learned more than I could ever learn in a classroom, and I know that's exactly the point of this. And so I'm just very grateful that I had this opportunity to go out in the field and learn from such a supportive group of people. So how did I measure the success with my clients? So specifically Cole and Jared. It was just, you could see improvements throughout. We didn't do any initial testing on them, but just on the bike in general. We started them, the first workout I remember we had them on the bike, and after 5 minutes they were complaining about their bum hurting, or their legs were tired, or they just weren't happy to be there. And by the 5th or 6th workout, like you could tell like they felt better about themselves. They were excited to come and show up, and that was just awesome to see. I mean, that's definitely how I would measure the success, is like how they feel and how I see they're doing in different exercises. With the teams, it was definitely hard to measure their success because they did constantly complain. But I found that if they were complaining and were tired and sore, then that was a success, because that's exactly what they came there for. And so I was able to design something that they felt pushed them and was hopefully making them better. So with the client satisfaction, like I had mentioned before, Cole seemed to be having more fun with the workouts, and once he got his cast off, it was 1,000 times better because he was able to do a lot more, full body things, wasn't limited by the cast, so it seemed like he just enjoyed himself more and enjoyed being there, which was awesome. With Jared, he was the one who liked to complain a lot about the individual workouts. So he started not to say, I hate this workout as much. I mean, obviously, he wasn't a fan of certain workouts, but he definitely improved and was enjoying it a lot more. So professional performance, how I would rate myself on the different things. So communication. I felt my communication was pretty good. I struggled a bit at the beginning with making sure to explain the key points of an exercise. I'd either give too much information or not enough, and I feel that now I kind of have a balance of what I will cue versus giving them 1,000 things to think about before they get into the exercise. So, for example, with the TRX row, I would be like, okay, look up, keep your core tight, keep your pelvis high, knees bent, retract the scapulas, pull yourself forward, and then relax your biceps and relax the scapulas, and etc. When at the end of it, all I really need to say was, Kate, you're going to pull yourself up, look up at the ceiling. With them looking up at the ceiling, it brought their pelvis up, it kept their glutes tight. So just little things like that. I was learning how to cue versus telling them 1,000 different things. So outside of the exercises, so just having conversations with people, I definitely got more comfortable. Having the client or having the trainer there with the team sessions, they obviously knew them a lot better than I did. So stepping in and starting a conversation was kind of hard, but by the end I was getting to know them as well. So talking to them outside of actually training, so about like school or their girlfriends, because all hockey players had their girlfriends, and they would talk about that quite a bit, so it was pretty entertaining. For information gathering, I do need to improve on this area quite a bit. I did get to join in on a couple assessments. Took some notes on the client's form of overhead squat, lunge, etc., which was really good experience to actually take the notes, and then I would talk it over with the trainer after and see what he saw as well, and just discuss what we noticed and like what kind of modifications that would mean for their workouts. I have a good understanding, I was able to sit in with some client meetings, so what their goals were, how active they are already, different things like that, and it was awesome. I was so happy that I actually got to sit in and learn what kind of questions to ask, how to ask them, how to word them, or just like what kind of information you need to design a good program for someone. So I was really glad I got to sit in on that, and hopefully I can take that forward in my future training of clients. So I kind of mentioned this earlier, but so for exercise demonstration, I kind of paired it up with communication, but I felt that, especially with the teams, I would either try and get all their attention, wait till they were quiet before demonstrating, which would take like at least a few minutes, versus trying to overpower the small chat with my own voice. And then, so I'd demonstrate it, and then 2 minutes later, I'd have people asking me questions again. So I think I do need to find the balance of, hey, everyone be quiet, listen up, show it quick, and then they can go back to their small talk. That'll, again, come with time and experience and practice, but it was definitely good to see how the kids reacted to different ways of explaining exercises. My punctuality and availability. So I rated myself average for punctuality. I was late twice. I could blame the train, but everyone has to go over the tracks, so that can't be an excuse. So to make up for it, I had to bring in some Timbits. My availability, as I mentioned earlier, wasn't the best. I wish I was available maybe all day, Tuesdays and Thursdays versus just in the evenings and then the odd Monday, Tuesday morning. But obviously it's a little bit hard with school and work. The knowledge. So over the past 70 hours, I feel my knowledge has grown so much, whether it was with new exercises, different ways to train or explain exercises, how to interact with people, how to lead a team or group or individual clients. It's awesome. I'm very thankful for this opportunity I had to do my practice on my first line, and I'm excited to just keep learning. So that's everything. I just wanted to say thank you again. Thank you to the teachers of the personal fitness training program, to my classmates, to the clients, to the trainers at First Line, and to everyone. It's been an unreal experience. Thank you.